What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another live stream. This is like the 4th or 5th live stream that I've done, and I'm just going to give you guys a couple minutes to have one or two of you hop in. I'm going to start streaming on Instagram as well. What is up? Looks like one person has hopped in. I'm going to start up my live on Instagram right now, so hang tight. Going, guys. Oh, what? Looks like my internet connection is potentially unstable. Let me know in the comments over here if you can hear me all right, if you can see me all right. I know the connection has been a little bit spotty these last couple of weeks, so let me know how it is, please. Riley, what's up, dude? Appreciate the comment. How are you doing tonight, man? Let's see how this goes over on Instagram. Good, man. I am doing well this evening. Just doing some tackle prep, and thought I would talk to you about a few specific baits. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or not, but I've been posting about some of these baits as of late and just wanted to draw some attention to them. I reorganized this wall behind me the other day. And what is up, Jay Laurie? What's up, No Diggity? Hope you guys are having a good night. I'm going to crack open this Avery IPA, and we'll talk about some of these giant Elaztech baits. Hey, Jay Laurie. Sticky Bassmaster, how's it going? So, for those of you watching on Instagram, looks like there's 9 of you right now. Let me in your life, says Jay Laurie. Not sure what you mean by that, but yeah, come on in, dude. I'm going to show you a couple of these baits. Zman, Elaztech, specifically the bigger baits that you guys might not already have in your arsenal and ought to be throwing. You even hunt, bro? What's going on? Hope you're having a good night. Cheers, guys. Riley Belden, your videos help. Have a couple tournaments coming up, so they work. Right on, man. Good to hear. Let me impress that little comment at the bottom. Oh, you want to hop in? All right, dude. So it looks like we're going to go live with Jay Laurie. And we're going to talk about some of these baits.
Yo, Dad.
What's up, Jay Laurie? What's your name?
Good. Josh.
Josh. How's your night going, man?
Pretty good.
Where are you from?
Are you famous?
No, man, I'm not famous. What are you talking about?
You got like $1,000 worth of tackle.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a hoarder. I collect. I like tackle, dude. So I'm just into the latest and greatest. I'm into trying new things, learning different techniques and ways of fishing. I am just obsessed. So
Yeah. Wait, where are you from?
I'm from Denver, Colorado. What about you, dude?
I'm from Canada, like Australia, Ontario.
Canada, right on. I was up in Canada doing some skiing last month. Nice tackle box.
Yeah, I got tons of rubbers down here, but where is my tackle box?
Rubbers. Speaking of rubbers, check out this massive swim bait. These are all Z-Man baits we're going to talk about for a few minutes. This is like the topic of, I'm streaming on YouTube right now, and the title of the video is Gigantic Z-Man Elaztech Baits. So I want to start with this 7-inch Diesel Minnows swim bait. You know, Not sure how familiar you guys are with Z-Man Elaztech baits, but the Diesel Minnows is a swim bait that Z-Man has made for a number of years. What's that, dude?
What rod do you use?
Well, for this 7-inch, I'm going to throw it on like a 7.3 heavy, depending on the hook. So let me just show you a few of the different Minnows swim baits so you can see for size reference how big these actually are. Here's the 4-inch, which I'd use as a chatterbait trailer. This is the 7-inch. I mean, we're talking like twice as big. So
yeah, what's your YouTube channel?
Hook sets are free. Just no period like on my Instagram page. So just hook sets space R space free. Check me out, man.
Yeah. How many bass have you caught on a topwater frog?
What's up?
How many bass have you caught on a topwater frog?
I don't know. Maybe somewhere between 50 and 100. I probably have as many frogs as I've caught frog fish, if we're being honest. I'll show you my frog collection in a minute.
Okay.
So 4-inch, 5-inch, 7-inch. This 7-inch is ridiculous. The 5-inch came out like a year ago and is a great all-around size. Can throw it on a 4/0 beast hook or an exposed hook jig head. I've got one rigged up over here. It's a Z-Man hook specifically. This is the Z-Man Redfish Eye jig head. It's got like a 4/0 mustad hook on it, and I like those swim baits.
Turtle?
The topwater turtle by Lunker Hunt.
Yeah.
No, man, I don't throw that, but
I caught a topwater pike on that, like a pike.
Yeah. No, I mean, fish eat turtles. That's for dang sure. So here's my frog box.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I got a few. So I do have the prop fish.
Yeah, I have 2 of those prop fish.
Yeah, I got 4 of the prop fish, and I've got a couple of the prop frogs.
Yeah, I want one with.
Got like 3 of those, and then just one of the regular Lunker Hunt frogs. But otherwise, you know, I've got just like, you know, 10 of the Lunker Hunt frogs. But I typically like Booyah or live target frogs the best when it comes to hollow body standard frogs. But
wait,
you know,
where did you say you were from again?
Denver, Colorado.
Where's that? Like in the States?
Yeah, Rocky Mountains. It's, you know, in the not quite the Midwest. You know, somewhere in the I'm east of California, but if you know where like Kansas is, I'm closer to there. Colorado is where the Rocky Mountains come down south from Canada. So, have you heard of like the Teckle sprinkler frog?
Yeah, I want to try one of those so bad.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those, and the Booyah Toad Runner is very similar in action. So
cool.
Pretty cool. You know, I do like to throw frogs, but honestly, the frog season here in Colorado is pretty tight of a window, just because we've got ice right now, and we will have ice until mid-March, and so it doesn't really heat up until like July, and then so we've only got a couple months worth of frog fishing, and I like to mix it up, as I told you. So I like throwing a whopper plopper. I like throwing walking baits, and even like rat style baits. So I'm getting more into glide baits and a variety of different top waters. And so quite honestly, I don't only throw a frog. So it depends on the condition and where I'm fishing that day, whether or not I whip out a frog. Does that make sense? What's up?
Do you hunt and trap?
I do not. No. I never grew up hunting, so I've gotten more interested in it, but I still don't do it. You know, I've never had a gun. I've only shot a gun a few times ever, so. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about these baits for a hot minute. If you want to stay on and watch, cool. Otherwise, I might boot you out so that I can go full screen for people to watch again. What do you think?
It's up to you.
All right, I'll let you stay in for a few minutes. So the two ways that I would prefer to rig this 7-inch diesel minnows would either be on a massive weedless weighted swim bait hook. This is actually the Trocar 9-aught swim bait hook.
How do you those with those little like springs?
Yeah, so I'll show you. Especially because on the Trocar, it is not a little spring; it's gigantic, actually. So it's one that needs to be swapped out. So I'm going to pop that off and grab an Owner CPS spring. These are the ones with the centering pins. And going to grab it in the large size and put one of those guys on real quick. And I'll show you, because it is tricky to rig with Elaztech. Specifically, Z-Man Elaztech baits don't really want to go on the spring very well. So I've got the spring on there now, and what you have to do is press in and pinch the plastic, and then as you're pinching the plastic, you give it a twist, and you can feel it kind of start to lock in. And so it takes a little bit longer than it would with traditional plastic, but if you're squeezing that centering pin, you can feel it going in just a little bit each turn. So I'm almost all the way there now. And as you can see, I'm in there all the way now. So now I'm just going to line up the bait to see where it ought to come out. Match that up with my finger. And
so when's the next time you're down in Canada?
What's up?
When's the next time you're down in Canada?
That is a great question. I really only make it up there for skiing, and I ski in BC mostly. So I've been to.
Real fish? Yeah, we have real pickerel fishing here.
Yeah, we've got good fishing here too, though, dude. I mean, we've also got good skiing here, so it's hard to justify. You know, I've been to the west coast of Canada more so than where you're at. So here's what the 9-aught looks like on the 7-inch bait. Pretty decent fit. Still has plenty of room for this tail to do its thing, but plenty of bite that when a fish gets down on it, I'm gonna be able to get him. So that's the primary way that I would rig it. Would be on an exposed hook jig head, and I don't think I have the right one, quite frankly, right now. All I've got is a 6 Sense Divine swim bait head, and this is like a 5-aught 3/8 ounce, which is not heavy enough or big enough of a hook. You can see it hardly makes it to that that top fin, so doesn't clear nearly enough. Would need more like an 8-aught hook to really go in this plastic. So I know that Z-Man makes a, like the redfish eye, they make one called the striper eye, which I think comes with a 6-aught hook. I'm not sure if that's big enough to accommodate this plastic. So I would rig it weedless, like I just showed you guys. first and foremost, and just run it low and slow. That's a 1/2 ounce swim bait hook, and as I said, I'd swap that screw lock for a owner CPS centering pin screw.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna go check out your YouTube channel and subscribe to you.
Right on, please do. I appreciate it. Good meeting you, man. Have a good rest of your night. You said your name was Josh?
Jack.
Jack. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, good talking to you. Have a good rest of your night. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
All right. Cool, kid. So I'm going to hang that back up. That was the 7-inch diesel minnows by Z-Man. As I said, I am newer to that bait, but really excited to throw it. I like to throw big swim baits. As you can see, the 6-inch Mag Draft Freestyle and the 7-inch Megabass Spark Shad are a couple that that I really like in that size. Also really like the Kitech Swing Impact Fat in the 6.8, also the 5.8. One that I unboxed for you guys recently, and I'm pretty pumped to throw this year, is the Mag Slow 9-inch swim bait. If you guys watched that last week, not sure who's in here on YouTube. There's 7 of you. Nobody has given a thumbs up. Come on, hook me up with a thumbs up if you're sitting in here and watching. But that 9-inch Mag Slow from Megabass is still on sale, super cheap, for $16 on discounttackle.com. So if you haven't checked those out yet, highly recommend that you do. They cost like $25 or $30 ordinarily. So that is definitely worth a look. So let's move on to bait number 2. I have not given any attention to the folks on Instagram. Chase O'Dean, what is up? The meme supplier, what's going on? Dalton, what's up? Since there's a couple different sizes, what's the best time to run 4 medium, 2 bottom? What are you talking about, Fish All 3? What's the best time to run 4 medium, 2 bottom deck fishing? I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Anyway, let's move on to talking about the other swimmer, just while we're at it, and that is the from Z-Man. And this one is pretty wicked. Most grubs. Ryan, son of a fisherman. You're not too late. You didn't miss much. I guess we're almost 20 minutes in, but all that I've talked about is the 7-inch diesel minnows from Z-Man. Talked about rigging it on an 8-aught Owner Beast or a 9-aught Trocar weedless swim bait hook. Next, we're talking about the 9-inch grubs from Z-Man. Canada Fishing Boy, what's up? Oh, is that you, Jack? Hopping in on YouTube watching? So here I've got 2 colors of the 9-inch grubs. This is the Shimmer Pearl White. This is the Motor Oil classic color. So I've got this rigged on 2 different weedless swim bait hooks. Joel Torres, hola. How are you doing, man? Joel. Got this rigged on 2 different weedless swim bait hooks. First is the Trocar 5-aught what do they call it? Swim blade. And this has got a willow blade on it. And I believe it's a 1/4 ounce on this 5-aught. This is the same hook that I would use on this 6-inch Mag Draft freestyle, and that is per Chris Zaldane himself. So the other one is the owner of Flashy Swimmer, and this is a 6/0. So it comes back just a little bit further in the bait, not by much though. And the weight is different on the Flashy Swimmer. Not only is it positioned closer to the head, but it is a 3/8 ounce, to my knowledge, as opposed to the 1/4 ounce on the Trocar. So anyway, this is my preferred way to rig it. You could throw it on a exposed hook. I think a 5/0 would do the job, like so. This is, again, the 6 Sense Divine Swimbait head, which is my preferred head for most swim baits of that size. Kind of in the 5 to 6 inch range. Now, anybody got questions on that? Johnny T, what up? Hope you're having a good night. Talking baits tonight. Got one more, and this is the Giant TRD from Z-Man. It's a 6 inch soft plastic stick bait designed for the Ned rig. Now, the Ned rig traditionally is a 3 inch soft plastic bait on a lightweight exposed hook jig head. So this is a totally different presentation, but is just an upsized version of the same thing. I'm sure you do love the Giant TRD, Johnny. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. It is late your time, isn't it? Push midnight. You got to get to sleep soon, eh? So let me show you what this looks like rigged up on the Mag Shrooms jig head from Z-Man. This is a 6/0 hook. Ordinarily, the Finesse TRD is rigged on a Finesse Shrooms micro or Finesse Shrooms jig head, which is like a size 1 hook. And compared to the 6/0, it is a pretty wild difference. So in the last couple of years, Z-Man has released a big TRD, which is a 4 inch bait, and now the Giant TRD, which is a 6 inch. So I'm going to line this up. Show you roughly, very roughly, because that's not a very straight rig job. In fact, that's ugly. I'll go ahead and redo it right now. So, voila, there it is. Still not perfectly straight, a little bit fat, but you get almost half the bait covered, but you get enough for this tail to really do its job. I posted about this on Instagram the other day, and somebody commented saying that they would chop this guy in half before rigging, and you shouldn't do that because, I mean, you could, but then you need a smaller hook. You know, if you use the same 6/0 hook, you're going to end up sacrificing the action of the tail, and it's not going to be able to do its thing. So rigged on this hook right here, this is a super buoyant bait, just like all Z-Man Elaztech baits are, and it will stand straight up on the bottom and want to dance around. That tail is just going to wag and wiggle and do its thing. You hop the bait, it'll settle back down on the bottom, and it is going to bounce around. So I had the opportunity to throw this in the yoga pants color a handful of times at the end of the summer. This bait just came out at iCast in July of last year. I did throw it a handful of outings and caught fish every time I took it out. And it does attract bigger fish. So I highly recommend this giant Ned rig. It's not the most versatile bait, but you could rig it as a Neko rig bait as well. But ordinarily, I'm going to use perhaps the big TRD, like I just talked about, which is a 4-inch bait. And it is pretty appropriate for this application, for the Neko rig, especially using the Z-Man Neko weights. Or I guess they're called the Neko Shrooms weights, wacky rig weights. And so you just plug that straight into the bottom and put your Neko or wacky style hook, circle hook, whatever your preferred hook is. There are Neko hooks specifically made for the Neko rig now. I like the one by VMC. So I'll actually show you what that looks like real quick, just since we got nothing better to do. What's up, Smackin' Bass? What's up, Bass M 618? So again, this is the 4-inch Z-Man Big TRD on the Neko Shrooms wacky weight. I believe this is like a 1/10 ounce weight. Yeah, which is kind of like my go-to weight for everything. Ned rig and Neko rig. And then cool thing about using Z-Man plastics is you don't need to use an O-ring. I like this weedless Neko hook that's got this fluorocarbon weed guard on it. And voila, 4-inch bait. Look at that. Incredible action. This 1/10 ounce weight is plenty to give it a fast fall to the bottom. And this 4-inch bait is plenty long and skinny to get some awesome wacky rig action as you move it along. So again, I prefer this worm for the Neko rig. There are a couple of others. The Z-Man Bang Sticks came out last year specifically for the Neko rig. It is a little bit longer. It's a almost 6-inch bait, 5 3/4, and it is essentially an upsized version of the hula sticks, or new ticklers as well. It's just got 4 tentacles on the top of the bait, and it is the same width, same circumference as the big TRD, the standard finesse TRD. So the Bang Sticks is a big bait specifically. Highly recommend that, especially if you want just a little bit more action out of the bait than from that big TRD. 321 Dan the Man. The weight is actually called the Z-Man Neko Shrooms wacky weights. And cool thing about these guys, as opposed to a standard nail weight, is that it has that plastic barbed keeper on it that you'll find on a lot of newer style hooks, like the Trocar flip-in hooks and some of the Z-Man hooks as well. So holds Elaztech baits extremely well. Those weights won't fly out. So highly recommend it. This stream has already gone a half hour, so ask me some questions. Let's talk baits while we're still in here for a little bit. There's 7 people on Instagram. 6 people on YouTube. For those 6 of you on YouTube, if you haven't already given this video a thumbs up, do me that solid. Help push this out to a few more people after we're done here. So again, this is my kind of Neko, specifically Elaztech worms, 4 to 6 inch. Looks like hopefully I'm still here. Just had an unstable connection on YouTube. Leave me a comment if you're in on YouTube. Sorry if I just cut out for a minute. I like to use the fatties. This is a 5-inch shaky head style worm. It has a little bit more taper to it. And I've got one rigged here on a mustad grip pin hook. I'd throw a bullet weight on the front of this, either pegged or unpegged, and treat it like a shaky head. But the cool thing about the fatties is it has this slit in the back. It's just open in the back. It has a solid head and then a pretty long slit, so it makes it easy to rig like a shaky head type of bait. And that makes it unique. They do make a mag fatties, which I suppose should have been in the topic of conversation while we're talking about giant Ned rig baits. Is the mag fatties. This is a 7 1/4 inch shaky head style worm, and unlike the fatties that I just showed you, there is no cutout in the belly of the worm. So it's not specifically made for a shaky head so much as flipping and other presentations. Doesn't really affect things as much, just makes for slightly more difficult hook set. But this bait is a little bit more versatile. Of course, you can cut it down a couple inches and then it is a standard fatties, or like this, you get that big presentation. This is a plum color. Got it in a couple others. What types of hook sizes do you use for a 5-inch swim bait? It says Bass M. You know, that depends on the bait. Also depends on the type of presentation that I'm going for. If I'm going for a weedless presentation, here are a few options. This is a 4.8-inch swim bait. This is actually the Bass Pro Speed Shad, which I don't totally recommend. I would suggest you just go with the Kitech and buy it from discounttackle.com. You're going to spend the same amount of money, if not a little bit less, on Kitech than you would the Speed Shad. I bought this to do a comparison, a year ago or so, which I ended up never making and posting, but you get a little bit more durability out of the Speed Shad, but a little bit lesser action in the tail and in the body. Not sure if you guys saw the video that Fish the Moment put out today, but that was actually really interesting. He recorded some underwater action of swim baits like these in a pool, and moral of the story is that he suggested Kitech is really the only way to go. So I agree with that. Durability is overrated and not necessarily something that you should be concerned with when it comes to paddle tail swim baits. It just is part of the deal. So this 4.8-inch swim bait is rigged on an Owner Flashy Swimmer in the 5/0 size. And in my opinion, that gives it just enough room to do its thing in the tail. Gives it plenty of clearance. I would also throw the 5/0 Trocar swim blade. Now, I don't always throw blades on the back. You know, you can always use just a standard 4/0 owner beast hook or a son of a bee. Here's that. This is a hook I was looking for that 7-inch diesel minnows, and this is the Z-Man Chin Locks 7/0 hook. Now, the hook I was looking for is not in here, but on a 5/0 swim bait, man, I'm throwing either the 4/0 owner beast or the 5/0 Trocar swim bait hook. So here's the owner beast, 4/0, 1/8 ounce, usually does the job. Owner hooks, boom, you are in here. Can't believe you're in here. Appreciate you. I absolutely love your products. Was repping the CPS Springs earlier on this stream. Beast all day. You're dang right, man. Got beast hooks and flashy swimmers galore in here right now. So, appreciate you guys. I could talk owner hooks all day. Treble hooks, swim bait hooks. I am a big supporter of owner hooks. In some instances, I will throw gamakatsu, but when it comes to most applications, I think owner is a little bit more refined and just as good, if not a little bit better when it comes to hook point. So, appreciate you. Thanks for showing up in the stream. Have a great rest of your night as well. Smacking Bass says, I want to switch over to only owner hooks. Yeah, man. Wouldn't be a bad idea. ST36, ST41 treble hooks are absolutely killer. When it comes to treble hook baits, where fish are going to swipe as opposed to engulf the bait, it's pretty much all I use. Now, I would use Mustad triple grips a lot of the time if I'm throwing like a lipless crankbait or a square bill or something that they're going to totally clobber. But other than that, I love me some owner hooks. So anyway, ask me some more questions, guys. Aaron's Outdoor. Used to using a 2.8-inch Kitech swing impact fat. Well, that is pretty small, dude. I do throw the 3.3 some. I think the 3.3-inch discount tackle. What is going on? Dude, is it Cody or who's running the account right now? Appreciate you guys coming in here. Was just talking about discount tackle and recommending that everybody buy their Kitech swing impact fat swim baits as the only paddle tail swim bait that they throw, and buy it through discount tackle. That's where you're going to get the best deal. And there is no arguing that these are the best swim baits for soft plastic paddle tails. Now, I did rep the Z-Man diesel minnows, which also can't get a better deal on anywhere than at discounttackle.com. So worth having those in your arsenal as well. But Aaron's Outdoor, you ought to throw the 3.3-inch more than the 2.8-inch. If you don't already have the 3.3, I highly recommend that you check it out. It is an absolute slayer when it comes to finesse swim baits. If you're going to throw it on a swim jig or just by itself, you throw it on a 1/0 hook, and there's just a little bit more that you can do with it. It has a little bit more presence, and I don't feel like it is too big for all the same times and places that you'd throw that 2.8-inch. So 3.3 is what I have switched over to pretty much when it comes to super finesse swim baiting. The other one that I would recommend is the Z-Man 3-inch minnows. This is the purple death color. Freaking love this thing. And also the 3-inch spark shad from Megabass, but I'm pretty much throwing that on Okashira screwhead most of the time. Smacking Bass, what's your go-to color on the Kitex? You know, as you saw, I've got Junebug and a red in that 3-3, but when it comes to bigger swim baits, tough to say, dude. The rainbow shad is probably my go-to. Feel like it's just the most versatile in all conditions. It gives off enough flash when you need it, but not overly so when you don't. And pretty classic shad profile. Great colors. So I do have the Tennessee shad and a few others that don't have any flash in them. I really like the Ghost Rainbow Trout for the bigger size. Got the Ghost Rainbow for the 6.8 inch, and I think it is legit. It's got that green top and that kind of pearl belly. So those would probably be my top two choices when it comes to Kitex. But I do throw a pretty wide range of colors for Kitex swing impact fats. Aaron's Outdoor, or actually Riley, let me answer your question on YouTube. Oh man, why'd you retract that comment? You were just asking something about dirty water, and then you deleted your comment. Now you ask, what's your PB and what'd you catch it on? PB is about 5 pounds, and I caught it on a jackhammer chatterbait last summer. Actually with a trailer that most people wouldn't throw, and that is the Kitex Swing Impact, not the fat, but the Swing Impact. It's a 4-inch swim bait, and this is a new saltwater series offering that they put out last year. That just adds a little bit of durability to their swim baits. And rad. I picked up 1 pack of these Swing Impacts and 1 in the Swing Impact Fat, both to just see what the durability was like and how much of a difference it makes, and 2 because they've got this really bright chartreuse back pearl color. So I got 1 in that and in the fats, and I'll show you the difference in color. It's pretty wild. Here's the standard chartreuse shad for the Swing Impact Fat, and here's the chartreuse back pearl for the saltwater. It is bright, so I think it's pretty awesome. The Swing Impact Fat is a little bit too aggressive of an action, too firm of a paddle tail to throw as a chatterbailer, in my opinion. So I will throw that Swing Impact sometimes just because it is more of a worm profile with a paddle tail on the very end. It is much more flimsy, but I still usually don't throw it. So anyway, I had that on the back of a Beehite Delight jackhammer chatterbait. Caught about a 5-pounder. I'm still relatively new to fishing, 3 years or so in, and more than anything, I'm just exploring new waters, new techniques, not necessarily just chasing giants. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of bigger swim baits, and as I've already showed you in this stream, I have a pretty wide variety of baits that I like to throw. Let me answer some of these other questions. Riley, spelled wrong. You were saying what bait is good for dirty water when the fish aren't biting? Oh, good question. Depends on what time of year it is, man. Honestly, I prefer to power fish and would go with a reaction bait first. So I'd throw a rattle trap or a square bill or a chatterbait. But if I've already tried that and the fish aren't biting, then I'd go to something a little bit more finesse, and might throw something as finessey as a Shaky head or a Neko rig. But dirty water, it's a little bit tricky. You know, you kind of need that vibration first, and then you need that bright color second. So Aaron's Outdoor, got a few packs of the 3.3. They definitely work well too. Definitely more versatile than a 2.8 because you can really only throw the 2.8s on a ball head, jig head. That's exactly my thoughts as well. I said you could throw the that 3.3 on a 1/0 flashy swimmer, which I actually really like that presentation. I showed you guys before. 1/0 flashy swimmer from Owner, and absolutely love that thing. So anyway, let's answer a couple questions over on Instagram. Need to try those swing impacts, smacking bass. Yeah, the swing impact is an absolutely killer swim bait. Underrated, dude. I've got it here in a few different sizes. The standard size for it is that 4-inch that I talked about. Look at how flimsy this thing is. As a standalone swim bait in the summertime, it has got a way wider swing, more aggressive action than a standard swing impact fat. So it's an awesome summertime swim bait, and comes in a variety of sizes. Look at this. It comes in a 4.5-inch as well. So here I've got it rigged on like a, I don't know if this is a 3/0 or a 5/0 hook, but the 4.5-inch is a sleeper size just because it's so much bigger than the 4, and it's thicker too. So just for comparison's sake, here's a 3.5-inch, here's a 4-inch, here's a 4.5-inch. The 3.5 is like really finessey. The 4-inch is super versatile and a great trailer, like I mentioned, on a chatterbait, on a swim jig. And that 4.5-inch is a wicked standalone warm water swim bait. It's one that nobody talks about. You can find them for like $8 a pack, and there's something like $4 or $5. And God, they stink like squid, just like all Z-Man or all Kitech swim baits do. That reeks. Let me come back to these. Ordered your first mystery tackle box. Really, Dima? First time you've got in on a subscription box? Well, stay tuned because Discount Tackle and I are going to partner to create a monthly kit. Looks like Dima's not in here anymore, but honestly, for the rest of you guys watching, stay tuned because Discount Tackle and I are going to partner up to create a package on a monthly basis. There will be kind of a recommendations from me and also from Brent from Goby Bryant over on Instagram, or Fishing with Goby on YouTube. He's from Michigan and fishes for smallmouth. The majority of the time I'm here in Colorado and fish for largemouth more than he does. But we're going to start giving recommendations on products sold from Discount Tackle, and we're going to package things up in like a similar type of deal as what Mystery Tackle Box, Monster Bass, Lucky Tackle Box, 6 Cents, and all those other companies are doing right now. And we're going to do like a kit. So you could either go ahead and purchase the entire thing every month, or you could look at the list. It won't be a mystery type of deal, and there's probably not going to be individual packaging. It's not going to come in a box or a sack. I mean, it'll come in a box. Obviously, it'll be shipped to you, but not like a designed box for this monthly deal. It'll just be a part of their website where you can go and look at these kits, if you will, or recommendations based on the time of year. So hopefully it will be a little bit more targeted than some of these other companies. I signed up for the Black Friday box for Monster Bass, and I think they're a good company doing things the right way. But honestly, I got two topwaters. I got a topwater frog and a popper in that box that came in December. So honestly, I think time of year, in addition to region of the country, are things that factor in and matter when you're going to buy a monthly subscription deal. Cool thing about Discount Tackle is you won't have to commit on a month-to-month basis. Bass Sam, I'm a little bit behind on these comments. The Megabass 8-inch is your favorite swim bait. The Mag Draft 8-inch, I actually don't have one of those. I am hoping that they're going to release a weedless Mag Draft Freestyle so that I don't have to spend as much money and buy just one bait pre-rigged. I absolutely love the Mag Draft Freestyle in that you can do whatever you want with it. You know, you can put it on a weedless swim bait hook. You can rig it line through. You can rig it, chop the top, the nose off, and put it on an exposed jig head. It's just so much more versatile. So the Blacksmither, what would you recommend for walleye? I would say either jerkbaits or shad style crankbaits. So two specific recommendations that I would have would be either the Rapala Shad Wrap in like the size 5 or 7, as well as a jerkbait like the Bomber Long A, or let's see here, the Smithwick Rogue would be a good one. So hopefully you're still in here, man. Yeah, Isaac, hopefully that answers your question. Throw a jerkbait or a shad style crankbait. You know, walleye tend to be fished for trolling as opposed to off the bank more often than not. That's just the way that most people fish for them. But if you fish for them late at night or early in the morning, you can get them up shallow. And I would throw either of those two baits where you've got a little bit of a steeper drop off, you know, rocky bank where you get a drop off of maybe 5 to 10 feet. I would throw Nate Sommers. Didn't get the notification, but you're right. Better late than never. That is for sure. We're 55 minutes in, so honestly, we don't have much time left. Probably going to get booted out here again, just like I did last time on Instagram. If you stream for an hour, apparently, Smacking Bass keep getting kicked out, huh? Sorry about that. Blacksmither, do a bag like Doomsday Tackle. I didn't know that Doomsday does a bag. I know 6 Cents does that super sack, which is legit, but honestly, I'm just not much of somebody to commit on a month-to-month basis because I prefer to do my own shopping and spend the time doing research. So Ryan, son of a fisherman, definitely got to do that. Got to consume it right here because you got an eye for baits. Appreciate it, man. Isaac, no problem. Thanks for asking the question. Any other questions? I'm going to stay on here for about 5 more minutes and hop off. You know, one thing I'll say I'm pumped to throw more this year is the old Tokyo rig. We'll talk about this next time, but I should not be saying the old Tokyo rig.